It's that time of day again. It's Tuesday. It's time to talk about cards and stuff. Because why not, right? Celestials. There's 2 more triple rares left, and they are Angel Feathers, and I run them because they have a cross ride coming up in set 13, and it looks pretty awesome beans, and I thought it would be pretty cool to run it. And 2, the deck's actually pretty powerful. I'm surprised not a lot of people have thought about running it. I mean, when Sneak Peek came out, a lot of people were like, I'm gonna get Celestials because everybody else is getting them. And then I always see is Dauntless. So what was that all about, right? Well, anyways, I built Celestials. It's not exactly done because I only run 2 Ramiel, but for the most part, I don't really care because all I wanted was the 4 Ramiel for the cross ride on set 13. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Prophecy Celestial Ramiel, which is the break ride for Angel Feathers, and currently the only one. So, this card's effect is, when you break ride, your Vanguard gets plus 1,000, and you can add a card from your damage zone, doesn't matter if it's unflipped or not, and you can add it to your hand. And then you take a damage from your double deck, which is obvious, right? I mean, if you can heal, that'd be kind of broken if you honestly ask me. So, what's so good about this? First of all, you can add anything from your damage zone. So you can run cards that you can prepare your damage zone in order to make sure that you get the card that you want. For example, No Seal and Celestial Sadael, which is an amazing card. I don't know why people think it's terrible, but it's amazing. 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 And you can just set that up, grab something you need, and then go ahead and take another damage, which really won't affect you unless you damage a Q trigger like I always do 99% of my games. And so the combos that you can do is you can move the perfect guard to your damage zone so you can go ahead and add that to your hand so that you can guard yourself. Neato, right? You can, if you're gonna re-ride Ramiel, you can move Zerakiel from your damage zone to your hand so you can re-ride that card and make sure that you have the grade 3 next in line in order to do that. Or in the general case, you can just grab a grade 2 and a grade 1 if you're missing a spot in your field. So in general, you can pretty much just add anything you want. And if you damaged yourself 5 triggers, then I think you pretty much won this game. If not, at least it doesn't go on the field, so you can just go to your hand and you have guard. So it's never bad at all. So especially since it comes from the damage zone and not from the deck. As long as you don't damage the trigger, it's generally really good. And secondly, you can unflip damage. Not that I'm saying that the deck flipped damage to begin with, because there's pretty much nothing in the deck that does that. But if you ever felt like it, you can do it. And it's free, technically speaking. And I feel like that's a little bit balanced too, to the fact that the deck doesn't, because the deck doesn't counterblast, you can go ahead and run, they can go ahead and make this card so that it's not profusely broken beyond all belief, which is fantastic. For the most part though, Ramiel is just a generally good break ride. I think it is probably one of the best so far next to Vert. Like I always say, if there's a break ride that can plus you 1 and make up for the fact that you just broke road, it is automatically a good card, in my honest opinion. Unlike Transcore and Dauntless. I mean, Dauntless kind of does, but it's more of a huge minus to the opponent rather than a plus for you, because you discard 3 from your 4 drive checks, so it's kind of like a -1, but you attack twice with your Vanguard. But I'm not talking about Dauntless, I'm talking about Ramiel, and you plus 1 technically because you zero out the fact that you just wrote another grade 3. So it's a generally good card, and it's just a generally good card. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. I always say that with break rides because they're all the same. I mean, there's plus 1,000 and they do something to benefit their clan. Yeah, but it's just really good just because it's plus 1. A lot of people give it a bad rep because they're just like, I damaged a heal trigger. This card's terrible. And I tell them, shush! You made it for your break ride. That's good enough. It's better than when Dauntless Drive Giant attacks you and then they don't trigger, and then you laugh at them because they just didn't trigger. So shush! You made it for your break ride. Worst things that can happen. Such as when you ride Coco and you draw 2 crits and you just like, I just wasted 2 triggers! So anyways, Ramiel is just a very good card. If you ever feel like you need an empty space in your Angel Feather deck, this is the card for you. Except for Metatron, in which you would run maybe 2 Ramiel and 2 Calamity Flame, because Calamity Flame is amazing in the deck. But for every other Angel Feather grade 3, you would run this card. Kyriel and Ramiel. Zerakiel, no, not, yeah, Zerakiel, Ramiel, obviously. Shamshell, and Ramiel, and a whole bunch of other great threes. Even that one guy, Urgdal. I never remember his name. But that card with Ramiel is fine. Can you imagine that with Urgdal? You can attack for like 21,000 and then they have to like no guard and then you heal one and it's broken when that happens. Yeah, that's not broken at all. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. In the next video, I'm actually going to talk about Zerakiel, which is the card that you break right into with the Ramiel effect. And yeah, and I guess I can talk about the Celestial deck at the same time. Or I can make another video about that because I have the deck and I can talk about it. So yeah, see you in the next one.